know. Actually, you know what? I need to do something here. Hey, hey. Should be so late. I know the OBS was giving me issues getting the stream going. I figured everybody had already left. Hello, hello. Yeah, there's a pretty big delay with OBS from when you guys. It's even longer than normal than what YouTube used to do for a delay. Hey, Anthony. Wondering if the Voodoo mod is worth the cost of 6505. I don't know that one. I don't know what the Voodoo mod is. I'm just reading these. Wholesome and talented. I'm such a fan. Well, thank you so much, Jake. That's very nice of you. Hey! Big Red Tower in the house. Guitar Man. Caffeine Thug. Thought I saw Tom earlier. John F. Strong. What's up? Love your Charvel. Thank you. I love that guitar too. You know, it's not my favorite to play, but you know, I have like a special connection with the Crackle Charvel. And also, I'm sorry, can you guys let me know about levels when you get a chance? So here's talking voice. It's looking good on here in levels. There's some guitar action. What guitar am I? I'm not selling any guitars. I done sold that mudda. So if you guys don't know, I don't have it out. I'm not gonna get it out because it's in its case. Like I said, the guitar, you know, in my opinion, is no longer mine to play and use. But there might be a video coming out whenever it's officially gone. But I sold the Kotzentelly. Believe it or not, I sold the Kotzentelly. Oh, James, thank you. Just got my first paycheck Friday. Showing love by Dream Guitar for 300 usually goes for 8. Dude, first of all, thank you so much for being so generous. But also, congrats on the guitar, man. That's really, really cool. Hashtag done sold. Yeah, I sold the Kotzentelly, you know. Which might seem weird. You know, I've gotten weird messages over the years as I've sold guitars. Like, some people, like, really get upset. And it's not that the Kotzen isn't an amazing guitar. I mean, I might get another one someday. But the way I've always, like, people have always asked me, like, how do you afford the gear and all this stuff? I'm like, well, I always sell when I'm not playing. So right now, you know, that's why I played this guitar. Someone was saying, no, get rid of the vintage T and keep the Kotzen. And like I said, the Kotzen is an amazing guitar. It is seriously like some of the best fretwork I've ever seen on a guitar. Sounds great. Is a beautiful guitar. But when it comes to a Telly, you know, I know that they sound different, but I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I just grab this one all the time. I think if I didn't have this guitar, the Kotzen would be like the main Telly. But the fact that this one exists, I'm just like, I play this one, you know, even more than like my traditional Telly, any of them. I'm like, I play this guitar more than most of the guitars I own, period. So I'm like, you know, this one just kind of has my heart on such a high level that I want to sell the Kotzen because I'm not playing it a whole lot. Keep the Kotzen, quote, no one ever. I want to do that trade. Guitar Pit. Because I want to get a Jazzmaster. And that's the way I've always gotten gear. I typically sell something that I'm not using and use that money to get something that, you know, maybe I'll like and kind of keep it forever. That's exactly what I did with the SG. Sold the SG, got the Gold Top. You know, and the Gold Top's one of my favorite. Again, like, this and the Gold Top have just kind of, like, taken over. So it's just like, you know, I don't have a need to have, you know, 50 guitars or anything like that. I like to, like I said, I'm not afraid to sell them. So sell the K. You mean the KM Les Paul? Good. So the K Les Paul. No, I play that one a lot. Actually, I was just looking at the frets because I'm a little bit worried about the frets on it because I've played it so much. I was playing it before the stream. Actually, it was the guitar I was going to use right now, and I was like, oh, I should get the Kotzen because it's about the telly and all that stuff. Tony! Devin! Hi, everybody. If I ever sell the Charvel, hit you up. That one probably won't go anywhere, to be honest. There's certain guitars I know that I won't get rid of them. And there's other guitars that I like, like I said, like the Kotzen. I love the Kotzen guitar, but I know that I'm not emotionally attached to it yet. So like this one, like I said, will go nowhere. Any of the Gibson stuff, the 335, I already feel like a connection to it. The Les Pauls, of course, will never go anywhere. What else? What else would I just not sell? Charvel. Probably it, Everything else, I have no intentions of selling them. But, you never know. Get a Friedman NoHo. Actually, I have a NoHo here right now. That you guys will be seeing a video on that super soon. I've had it for a while. That was actually, I would say, the most requested Friedman guitar for me to do a video about. So that'll be coming out pretty soon. It's a smoking guitar. Those NoHos are really, really nice. Elijah is asking, Robert, have you seen where Jackson did the crackle finish? I have seen that. Those are really, really cool. I played one, actually I played a couple of those, and they're really, really good. What I don't like is they painted the back of the neck. Now, it looks incredible because they did crackle paint on the back of the neck. It looks incredible. I just don't like the way that it feels. Mike! China Guitar Skeptic! I don't know what lick I was going for there. A bad lick, apparently. Love the Friedman. Thank you, man. Yeah, I know. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, Mike, was it your video? Or was it Philip McKnight's video? You guys did a really interesting video about relic guitars. And it was kind of funny to see in the comments because some people got like super offended that some of you guys were like, oh, I don't like relics. Or like some guys like, I do like them. And I just thought it was really like interesting just hearing what people think. It's not something that offends me, enough to like leave like a like a mean comment about it. I'm like, I don't know, like I've never owned a relic guitar before, and when I ordered this one, I was just, I'll try anyway. So if you guys haven't seen that video, it's a really interesting video. I thought it was really cool. Everyone had really good points on it. It's like a debate style video, and I really enjoyed it. But like I said, for me on the whole relic topic, like I said, I've never owned another relic guitar. This is it. The Cali is relic. It's basically just cracked. Which I have another guitar that I did order about 4 months ago now. So hopefully that'll be getting here soon, and that's what I kind of asked for. Actually, I asked for a heavy relic, and then I asked for them to just crack the finish. So they said like it might have been too late to do that, to kind of change my order around. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I was like, you know what? The one that made me want to buy this guitar was even heavier relic than this one. The picture that I saw, and I was like, just beat it up. I'm like, I don't care. Like just make it look cool. Like I said, I'm not trying to fool anybody who asks me about this guitar. Is it real or is it a relic? I'm like, it's a relic. I'm not trying to fake anyone out. What's the best HH combo? It depends. Like the Fishman Classic pickups are really good. It all depends on the sound you're going for. A lot of people commented on the Van Halen video I posted last week about asking about the tone, and a huge part of that tone. I was using the Axe FX, which is modeling a BE100, but a huge part of that tone is actually the Cali that I was using and those pickups. The Cali itself it's an extremely bright guitone, and if you listen, bright guitone. There's the new word, guitone. It's a very bright guitar, and if you listen to any of that early Van Halen stuff, Eddie's tone is super bright. It sounds thick and lush, but that's Michael Anthony's bass filling out the low end. But Eddie's tone is really bright. So that guitar, as soon as I got it and plugged it in the first time I had it, I was like, oh, this just gets Van Halen. So whenever I was doing that video, there was really no question in my mind of what guitar I was using. The only thing I wish I would have done on my Cali was, as amazing as that neck pickup is, I wish I would have done a single pickup Cali. I think that would have been cool. Not a Relic fan, but it's cool for those who do. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, man. Are you a fan of the Range Lord by Jex Dallas? I just got one. I've never heard of that before, to be honest. I'll have to check that out. I've never heard that name mentioned before. Guitone. What do you think of toaster pickups? Do you mean toaster pickups like what are those called? They're those old ones, like the foil pickups. What are they called? I can't remember. What they're called. Shoot, what are those pickups? They're super low output. They're old pickups. Someone will know what they are. Oh my god. Oh man, I'm thinking like I can literally see. Sean Tubbs has one in his gold LSL. I cannot think what those pickups are. They're really funky looking pickups. I'm so brain dead right now. Monkey Gun. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. You inspired me to build a Les Paul style guitar. You rock so well. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Filtertron. There we go. That's what it is. Yep, Filtertron. I could not think of that. God, it was like on the tip of my. I can picture everything about them. Now you need Guitone t-shirts. I love it when I coincide. Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I think my live streams are gonna have to be like this from now on. Having them on a Friday night is just a little bit too tough. It's too unpredictable for me to be able to give you guys any kind of heads up. Every time I do a live stream, people are like, "Oh, when do you normally do these?" I'm like, whenever. Like I don't know when I normally do them. But this works really good because my son's asleep. My wife, she might be asleep. I don't know what she's doing, but it's late. I've spent the whole day with the family, and I'm thinking these Saturday kind of like midnight things are gonna be great. As long as you guys are down with them. Some Stranglehold. Cowtown Customs. What's happening, buddy? I got to play a bunch of his guitars. It's a really, really cool guitars, man. And they get to Columbus show on the 5th. No, I will not be there. No, that show always lands a little bit too close to the Winter NAMM. Yep. So I'll be kind of like resting up doing the Winter NAMM stuff. I've really just kind of, like I said, I've talked about this in other live shows, but outside of probably like Guitar Fest and stuff like that, man, I'm really not going to be doing too much of that stuff anymore, I'm afraid. Just because, I'm shooting a video tomorrow because we're getting our roof done on our house. So a lot of you guys who've been watching for a while will know this. This has been a huge process. We got the smaller roof done a while back, and while our friend was here, after he got that done, he realized there were some like major issues with our main roof, and he got up there and looked at it, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's like whoever did this roof before, they just kept roofing over. So instead of tearing off the old roof and putting a new one on, they roofed over it. So there were actually 3 layers of shingles on our roof." And which is extremely dangerous because of how much weight that is. And in Ohio here, we get a lot of snow. So if you think about it, there's thousands and thousands of pounds of shingles and all this stuff up on the roof. And then you add thousands of pounds of snow on top of it. It's like crazy dangerous. So we've been like waiting and waiting and waiting for, just all the contractors have been so busy. I'm just like, I want to get this done before winter so bad. I've been like, try not to get stressed out about it. My wife is really good at, compartmentalizing stuff and being like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. The wheels are in motion, but that's just not the way my brain works. I'm like, oh, there has to be something I can do. But thankfully they're doing it. It's going to take them a while. And it's they found some other stuff. So unfortunately it's more expensive than what we had planned, but I'm just happy it's getting done. So it's been a fun year, like first year ever owning a house, and it's been a bit of a ride. Thought about putting a wider neck on your Charvel. No, you know what's really weird about the Charvel is this. Despite the fact that I don't like the neck on it, I don't want to change the neck on it. I like that it's this like, mutt of a guitar with, like it's like an 87 neck or something like that, and 89, maybe 91 body. So it's this weird thing that I just kind of like, I just leave it as it is. And I still play it fairly often. I like to use it in videos. Because, every time I use it in a video, everyone's pumped up to see the crackle. Alex, what's up, buddy? Regarding roofing, that was super, super common until the late 80s. Now I think most insurance companies will cover 2-layer, but it's fine. It's more than 5 layers. Wow, 5 layers? I couldn't imagine that. Yeah, they actually, while they were tearing it off, he was telling me that they took the one thing off and water just ran out of it. So, a hard winter would have been rough on that roof again. But thankfully, the shingles get here Monday and they'll start, laying those. It's all dried in right now. So I'm excited to get that done, and then there will be plenty of more tasks that we'll need to do to the house after winter. But it's like everything else could kind of wait a year, because we were kind of, after this and just buying the house, like I said, it ended up, that was like twice as expensive as we planned. And then the first roof, now the main roof, and all these other things, like financially for that kind of stuff, we're like, yeah, we're just kind of like tapped out and done with that for now. So sorry, that was a super sidetrack out in the weeds. My original point of all of that was not really going to the guitar shows anymore. I would say because it's super stressful for me to go to them, because in order to leave for a few days, say like leave Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or something like that, I have to make sure that I have all these videos prepared ahead of time, and that usually what happens is you have to work twice as hard while you're gone to make sure you still have the videos, and then when you get back you're behind because you weren't making videos, and you have to work. So it's like super just like grueling. And I'm like, I think I have to like not do those. And I've been way happier this year since I cut all that stuff out. What guitar did I sell? I sold the Kotzen Telly. So it's still here. It's right over there. You can't see it. It's in a case and, tucked away. But I did, yeah, that one is gone. But I'm really wondering if you've ever heard of tried Texas Toast guitars. I'd like your opinion before I attempt to buy one. Hey, Zach, I have not. I'm actually really good friends with Ike at Flipside Music. He owns one of them and has spoken really highly of them. And they look really, really cool. I have not had a chance to try one, even though I think they might have been at Summer NAMM, and I must have missed them. But I've heard really good things about them. Someone said, "Can I sweep? I can sweep a floor like a madman." I don't think I warmed up for sweeping. Nope. I can feel it in my hand. Nope. I can tell when I'm not ready. Is the Kotzen buyer in a band or a student? Oh, the Kotzen buyer is actually was like a channel member. So Neil, I don't know if he happens to be here or not, but yeah. Yeah, I always feel bad. Like anytime I post something for sale, like I'll post it and I post it in the community and I get lots of emails about it and I just can't respond to everyone. So I'm sure some people just think I'm a total jerk and like just don't respond, but I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just, is that guitar for sale? No, that the Kotzen is sold. So this one is not for sale. This one's one of my babies. Patrina, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. You have a beautiful head of hair. I've always had longer hair. I only didn't for 1 year, and that was back in I guess high school when I was in basketball. Coach made me cut my hair, and I was kind of like, nope, done with that. Quentin James in the house. Kind of reminds me of if we had a telly how it would look. Yeah, like I said, I really think that they did such an amazing job relicking this guitar. Because some people might see this and be like, "That's ridiculous." They would never wear that out. But like, look at any of like Tyler Bryant or Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitars and that kind of thing. And they're all worn like this, And even if you look at like any of my guitars that I haven't played them live, like they have, of course. They're all legends. But you can see anybody who has a heavy right hand, like a large, picking hand. I'm not sure if you can see the scratches on it. Yeah, you can see it really good. It's like so close to getting it perfect. Well, you can kind of see it. But, I mean, that's what it's from. So, yeah, in my opinion, I could totally see how a guitar would wear and relic there. Iconic Slash or Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy's in a different league. Just because, think about, not that Slash isn't a legend and, incredibly iconic, but, you see Jimi Hendrix t-shirts still to this day and Walmarts and gas stations and everywhere. And, you see a lot of Guns N' Roses and Slash as well. But I would bet that the Jimi Hendrix brand is, substantially more marketed and more available to the public than probably any other guitar player. I can't think of a guitar player that would be more marketed than Jimi Hendrix. Sorry you sold a guitar. Never mind, two make their way to you. Yeah, like I said, I don't feel bad about selling it, so don't worry about that. I sold it because I'm buying it. I'm putting that money towards getting a Jazzmaster. Now, what I don't know that I'm doing, oh my God, a new member. I don't even know if I remember the new member riff. New member. I gotta see if I remember this. Man, it's been so long. There we go. Boom! There we have it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Javier? I think I'm saying your name right. Javier Martinez. Welcome. New member, baby. That shows you how how infrequent my live shows have been. Man, I need to get on this. Thank you so much. Jimmy changed guitar like Beatles changes. Exactly. Yeah. Jimmy, is I feel like as far as people who changed guitar, I'd say it'd be hard put to say there are more who changed it. The two that pop in my mind are Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen. I gave you the marketing guitar. That's because I never heard of Steve Vai until I started learning guitar. Yeah, exactly. And that's always kind of a really interesting thing. It's like in the small. It shows you how small the world of guitar really is, because we think Steve Vai is a huge name, and he is a huge name. But if you go outside of the guitar world itself and start asking people guitar players' names, who are they going to know? They're going to know who Jimi Hendrix is for sure. They'll probably know who Keith Richards is above Eddie Van Halen and probably Clapton. I bet those are the three that people will probably know more than anything. It's probably Keith Richards, Jimi Hendrix, and Eric Clapton. Maybe, yeah, and probably like Paul McCartney and stuff like that. What guitar did you sell? Just hopped on. I sold the Richie Kotzen Telecaster. That one is gone, and it will be replaced probably with a Jazzmaster. What I was going to say is, so I have a few options for Jazzmasters. It'll be a little bit before I do one, because like I said, we're waiting. I want to get the roof done and out of the way, because they still have one more side. So our roof has essentially two big sections and then two smaller sections on the side. What did my wife call it? It's like a pitched roof, I think is what she said. And they have one section left to do. So before I go spending any money or doing anything, I'm just I don't know. I want them to get that section tore off, because unfortunately what we found is, like I said, it was 3 layers on the roof. Sorry to keep talking about the roof. Tore it off, and underneath there wasn't wood. It's what's called cedar shake. So essentially, you can't put shingles back down on the cedar shake. So we had to factor in the fact that, okay, we know the wood underneath isn't good because there is no wood essentially. So they have to, tear everything up, re-wood all of the house. The cedar shake, it's super old. We have an older house. I think our house was built in, I want to say 1923 or 1928. So it's like, we love we love our house so much, but we also, you just have to deal with a lot of old house issues. Angus Young, ooh yeah, Angus, amazing. You know what? You'd be surprised though how many people know AC/DC, don't know who the guitar players are. I was amazed being a guitar teacher in a store, how many young kids would come in, had never heard of Van Halen, didn't know who Eddie Van Halen was, knew AC/DC, didn't know who Angus was, and it was really astonishing to me because, but I guess like looking back, like when I was a kid learning to play guitar, I didn't know who any of the. I knew who Eddie Van Halen was, I knew who Mark Tremonti was because I liked Creed, and that was kind of it. Like, I didn't know who Randy Rhoads was or Angus Young. I knew Angus because my dad told me who Angus Young was, and because he liked AC/DC so much. But yeah, I guess it's not that weird. Now that I think about it, it's just weird to us because we're like, how do you not know who Angus Young is? But easy, but dude, right? Angus is really hard to play. And I would say Angus is one of the like top 5 guitarists that I've taken the most from. But not Creed. I know, right? It seems funny, but Creed was like such an important band to me because I couldn't play any Van Halen stuff. Van Halen's what made me want to play guitar, but Creed, the songs were all really easy. So I remember I learned the whole My Own Prison. That was their first album. I learned it first song to last song, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I can play all these songs. And I remember I learned the second album too, and then the third album I didn't learn because he started using a lot of his weird tunings, and I broke a string trying to tune to an open tuning. I tuned up instead of down, and I was like, nope, not doing that. The Beatles. Listen to Disney rap. Does a lot of scratching hard. Yeah, his, and what's funny about Angus, which he does, and I'm not very good at it, and I have a hard time doing this, is Angus sits so far back on the beat a lot of the times in his solos, it's hard to play. Like if you're someone like me who's way more like, I have swing, but not the kind of swing that Eddie did this a lot too. Eddie and Angus, totally different players, but they both sat on the back of the beat a lot. It's really weird, and that's what makes it so hard for everyone to get that style down, because rock is typically like dead center. We're on the beat, and they're riding the back of the beat, and it's like if you don't have that really locked in your hand, it's so hard to do. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a simple run like that, it just makes you feel cool because it's an Angus Young lick. It's good. Yeah, smash that like button. Sam Reynolds. Yeah, they play behind the beat a lot, and that's what makes it so hard to get it. And that's why, you get like the troll comments or like, you don't. That sounds nothing like Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, I'm not Eddie Van Halen. Like, I can't play it like him. I don't even try. It was same like when I did Little Wing. I learned the notes to Little Wing, but that doesn't mean that I can play Little Wing. Because if you listen to it, again, Hendrix has this like slanky swing, and I think it's probably similar. He's riding the back of the beat a lot, and it just gives these guys this sound that's so hard to do. I was talking to Tim Pierce about it because I was asking him some questions about Little Wing, and he said that he's like, man, all the years that I've played it, I still can't play it like Hendrix. I'm like, oh, I found that out right away when I was learning. I'm like, it's funny. I'm playing the notes, and I'm playing the notes when he's playing them, but there's something happening there that I'm not getting. I've heard of James Guillory? I have not. Yeah, Angus doesn't have a lot of gain. I have like a ton of distortion on right now. And it's funny because watch like the AC/DC rig rundown. Maybe it's on Premier Guitar or whatever magazine does those. And his rig is like so simple. It's like 2 pedals, 2 SGs, and a Marshall. It's just like the quickest rundown ever. Fade to black. How's that go? One of those was right. Try to learn White Summer by Led Zeppelin. It's such an amazing guitar. I have not. I'm working on learning 10 Years Gone all the way through. It's hard. It's a really complicated song. I know the beginning okay-ish, but I want to do a video about that. There's a bunch of videos I want to do that are coming up. It just thankfully a lot of you guys have really been liking this. I've tried to incorporate more of an educational style to the riff videos. I watch a lot of the statistics of YouTube. Like I said, I'm doing a video tomorrow. I'm shooting it. It'll probably be up Monday. Just kind of like some insight to future people who want to try to do YouTube, for a living, and just stuff that I've learned. But I think it'll be a lot of insight because what's happened is the past few events that I've come up to, I've had parents and kids come up to me and be like, oh, like the dad will be like, my son wants to be now, he watches your videos and he watches Paul David's and he watches all these YouTube guys and he wants to be a YouTuber when he grows up now. And I'm like, oh, that's really interesting because, all of us who are doing it now, that wasn't a thing. It just kind of happened. And I was like, I've really learned a lot of insight about it. So it might not be like a super popular video, but I'm hoping that it just offers insight into the side of YouTube. And I'm trying not to make it a negative video, but I just want it to be like legitimate insight into like it's a ton of work. And it's super stressful, and just because you work hard doesn't mean that the video will do good. There's plenty of videos that I've spent 2 weeks making that get no views, and there's plenty of videos that I've made in 2 hours that get 1 million views or something like it's just like emotionally it's a roller coaster to do it. So I want to make a video about it, just kind of insight into different things that you kind of have to like prep yourself for whenever you're pursuing this kind of stuff. Kidding. Pink Ibanez, Jim Steve. Ooh, congrats on that one. Whoa. All right, what guitar should I switch to? Yeah, see, and Mike totally gets what I'm talking about. Another thing I find a lot that happens on YouTube is a lot of people enter into it and think they're gonna make a bunch of money on YouTube and all this stuff, and talk to any of the like smaller YouTubers like myself, guys who don't have a million subscribers, and I would say to make a living off of doing YouTube to the point where it's the only thing that you do, you don't have to like sell merch or like I sell guitar courses, all that kind of stuff. If you just want strictly YouTube, I see Strat. All right, I'll do the Strat. I would say you need to be pulling in around 4 to 5 million views a month, which is a ton. I know for me, like a month of views is probably like 800,000 to 1 million. So like I said, nowhere near enough to like live off of, So I think like I said, it gets like misconstrued that it's like, oh, I'm gonna do YouTube and I'm gonna make a bunch of money. I'm like, you could. You could be a Jared Dines who's going to have these amazing viral videos, or, you won't, and you're going to have to, find some other way to make it work. Where am I located? I'm located in my house. I'm in Ohio. No more shopping carts at Sam's Club. Man, I did that for so many years. But you know what's funny? So, like, that's, you know what? You just gave me a really good thing that I want to add to the video I'm doing tomorrow. So, when I initially left my job at Sam's Club to pursue music, going French on you, to pursue music full time. I left the job. I didn't realize there's this huge dropout of students. This is before I don't think I was making anything on YouTube. It was just I was teaching full time at a store, and then summertime hit and I lost half my students because that's just what happened. But it was my first summer, so I didn't know that. But I remember I did it for a year and messed around with other stuff. And then I ended up, I had to go back, and I worked at Sam's Club for probably another 4 or 5 months. Luckily, I definitely recommend people, quitting and leaving a job the right way. Because when I left, I put in my 2 weeks, I did the whole kind of gamut. So then when I went back, to get a job, a normal job again, the managers all liked me, and they were like, oh, of course. Like it was same day. I think I started the next day, but it was just because, I, did things the right way. And it has to, sometimes you have to do that, and that's like, that's a good, I want to put that in that video because you can't get defeated. You have to figure out, all right, whatever I'm doing is not working. I can't keep doing the same thing because it's not working. So what am I going to do? I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to ask them if I can work first shift. I'll go in for 3 or 4 hours each day before I have to start teaching, and and push carts and whatever they had for me to do, I just did. So it was part of it because, at that point, it's like, I have a son and a wife to take care of. I cared a whole lot more about about taking care of them than I'm not going back to, to a real job. I'm a musician now. I was just like, you can't have time for silly pride about that kind of stuff. And Brian, thank you. Brian from Oregon, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. Brian bought the rock guitars from front and center. Yes, 100% playing. I'd love to play his new signature guitar. That looks so cool. Who knows what would have happened? You are awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. And you are totally right, man. Chuck Berry is, made guitar cool. Guitar is always cool, but made it, cool. Like guitar was the cool instrument all of a sudden. It wasn't a background thing. Good money YouTube comes from sponsors. Yeah, a lot of people get really turned off to people having sponsored videos. I've done sponsored videos. I have a sponsored video coming up real soon. The only thing with me and sponsored videos is I'm super selective about it. I've been approached by a lot of people to do sponsored videos for what is it? It's like Reverb. It's like wish.com. And then there was another gear selling website, like lots of them. And, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what this website is. So I'm like, I appreciate it, but no, I don't want to do that. And like the one I'm doing here soon is with Reverb. And I'm like, oh, because they approached me and I was like, oh, well, I bought 2 guitars off Reverb. I bought my Gold Top and 335. And they're like, oh, would you want to do something? I'm like, yeah, I know I'm familiar with you guys. Same thing I did with Bandzoogle. Like, I used them for 3 years before I did that. So I actually don't know how to play that. No sound so percussive and have such a distinct attack. Of that, you know what? A lot of that stuff is just practice, to be honest, but practicing how you're delivering a note. So what I always liked were players like Stevie Ray Vaughan and, just all the greats. If you listen to them, so much of their sound is their right hand. They're super percussive and they're super dynamic out of it all. So like if they play a phrase or, I shouldn't say if they listen to them if you want to hear them play that because, they're a lot better than I am. But if I play a phrase, I typically don't play something like that, picking wise, just because I don't like the way that sounds. I might go, and if you listen to it, there's a lot of different things happening. I raked my way into the note. And you see that there's more downs happening because a down sounds different than an up. You can hear that the way the note blooms is different. So and you don't need pedals or anything like that. It's like I said, it's all just in your hand. So pick lighter, pick heavier. If you really want a note to pop, really dig in, if you want it to be like more chill. So that was the stuff to me that I always really stuck out. Andy Timmons is a really good one for this kind of playing. Eric Johnson, of course, is probably one of the biggest ones where I'm getting this from. If you listen to the way he plays, that's a lot of that's coming from him. I have the wrong kind of distortion on here. I have distortion, which is the issue. If I turn like a fuzz face on, you'll hear that more Eric Johnson sound to this. So, to me, that has that Eric Johnson vibe to it. But if you listen to a lot of like the way he, I guess like embellishes his notes is a good way to say it. It's a really interesting way because he gives so much space between his notes. You know, even though we get kind of caught up wanting to learn, you know, all the crazy runs of, not that one. I'm just not warmed up to play fast, but. You know, it was his slower kind of build-ups that really interested me the most. So, all that stuff was so fun. You know, you dive into it, and he's a very dangerous person to learn because his style is so fun and so musical. You just want to play like that all the time. I don't know much Metallica, I'm afraid. You know, I was never like a big Metallica person. This is the fractal, yes. So you're hearing the fractal, and I switched that over to the fuzz face tone. But, you know, an interesting fact. So if you guys saw the Fender video that I did on Friday, this was the tone from it. So it was this. With the fuzz face. And if I really crank the drive up, you hear it get real fuzzy on there. But what I did for that tone was, I'll turn the delay off for one. I turned the fuzz basically all the way down, you know, to this. So that's still the fuzz, but it's just rolled way back. So, and that was that first riff. Ba-doom-bow. And so on. Are you breathing in here? I don't remember it anymore. Hey, In the Blues is in the house. How about that? How about that? All your love is Miss Lovin'. Yeah, I've been all about this Strat recently. I did decide, which I felt kind of like a jerk that I decided to do this, but I decided I'm not going to mod the guitar. Originally, that was the plan for this guitar. You know, it was my idea was to mod it, have you guys vote on what I was gonna, you know, parts I was gonna put in this guitar. Dave, and that was the whole plan of this guitar. And I played it, and I just, like, the more I played it, the more I liked it. Catch me outside. And I was just kind of like, I like it as is. And I was like, you know, what if I mod it, and then I don't like it? So it was just kind of like one of those things. And I was like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it, you know? So, the, oh. I'm surprised I remember this. Oh, how's it go? Well, she's walking. Okay, so funny. Hey, Scott, Raxo. So funny story about me learning Little Wing is right here, and me just looking like an idiot to Tim Pierce. So I decide I'm gonna learn Little Wing, and what I do is I just look it up on YouTube. Like I have the song, but on YouTube you can if you don't know this, you can slow things down, even down to a quarter of the speed. Now you can do quarter and half. And I was like, I really want to get this song and get the kind of the nuances of it. And I click on one that says Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing, has a picture of Jimi Hendrix, and I click play and it's loading, and I go ahead and I turn the speed down to half, and it starts, and I'm listening to it, and there's all these little subtle things. I'm like, I've never noticed this before, because it said guitar only. I was looking for a solo guitar piece that didn't have that bell sound in there, and that's what it said this was. And I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. Like I don't remember like hearing this stuff, and I keep listening to it. And I'm like, what's really weird is that one part, he goes like this. So he does that, and I'm listening to the recording. I'm like, no, he goes. I'm like, whoa, he bends it. Why does no one ever bend this? And I like watch all these tutorials. I'm like, no one's bending. Like, why does no one play it this way? He's clearly bending. And then all of a sudden, I like send the video to Tim Pierce. I'm like, what? I was like, look at this. I go, have you ever noticed this about Little Wing? And then I realize just how dumb I've been. I like turned the video to full speed finally, and within seconds of hearing it in full speed, I'm like, that's not Jimmy's tone. This is the Stevie Ray Vaughan version of Little Wing. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, telling Tim what an idiot I am, and he's just laughing. But I was just like, oh my God. Like, what in the world? It's just like, I wish I would have just listened to it, but I was all hyped up because I'm like, oh, this is great. I know the isolated guitar track, and it's so they just labeled the Stevie Ray Vaughan version Jimi Hendrix. So, I never played a Peavey guitar. I have. A buddy of mine has one of the nice ones. What's it called? Is it the Axis? I can't remember. But yeah, they're really good. A little small was the only thing. Thoughts on the Grateful Dead. I honestly have not listened to much Grateful Dead. I remember I taught a few of their songs to students. There were a few students who were just real big Deadheads, but what I had taught really wasn't my thing. Cold, Jen. Oh, how's that go? Don't know where I was going with that. It was working there for a second. You know what's funny, Braxel? I did have a ribeye recently. I had one on Sunday, last Sunday, and I didn't I don't post about it, but I ended up getting like food poisoning, and I don't know if it was from the steak that I had. We stopped at a Longhorn steakhouse after my clinic and had dinner, or if it was like this burger that I had at the show that was kind of sketched out, but I don't know what it was, but I ended up getting like food poisoning, super super bad. I was basically just like didn't exist Monday and Tuesday, because usually like I had food poisoning before. It's like a 24-hour thing. Like after a day, I'm good. But I was like, not to be gross, but just puking all the time. And what was not funny, but like odd, is like a couple weeks before, my son had a pulled pork sandwich, and he ended up getting sick from it and was up all night puking. So then I was that way, but I was that way for 2 days, and then basically Wednesday, I was sick from being sick so much. Like I had a really bad migraine, and it was just from being so dehydrated. And it sucked, that was a big reason why I only posted 2 videos this week. Is I have some others to edit, but I couldn't even edit. Like I couldn't sit up straight. So it was EVH brown sound. Okay, yeah. I'll show you that EVH tone. But yeah, it was just really really brutal. Like I don't think I've ever been sick like that before in my life. I got home from the clinic, and I was fine. And then like in the middle of the night, around like 2 a.m., I got up and I was sick, and I stayed sick from 2 a.m. on Monday until Wednesday. I could finally sit up and drink, some water and Gatorade just to try to get something going. Canadian immune system. Well, and that's what I was just talking to my wife, because when my son got sick, we all had the sandwiches, and she was kind of like, but you didn't get sick. I go, well, I've got that, country boy stomach. It's I could eat probably roadkill and it wouldn't make me sick. And then like the next week, it's like, oh really? And then I get sick. So had to be the hamburger. Yeah, I think it was the hamburger. Because the hamburger was definitely sketchy. It's from a food cart, and but we were just starving. Altoid84. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. That's incredibly nice of you. Just started playing again, but I've lost strength and control of my pinky from nerve damage. Any exercises or tips that might help? Thanks, man. Of course. I'm really sorry to hear that. For one, I'll give you. I'm gonna give you an exercise here, and then someone was asking about that EVH tone, and I'll explain that here in a second as well. So a really good picking exercise. This is just for anything in general, but this is really good because it sounds musical. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this. The way I'm going to show you is all the way up here, just because if you've had nerve damage, you want to work on. There's a lot less tension when you're up here versus down here. So we'll just consider this one up here. So what I'm doing is it's just a pedal tone idea, but it's utilizing that pinky ring finger a lot, and it sounds, like I said, really musical. And these are the things that I like to practice because it just didn't sound like an exercise. It made it fun. So what I'm doing is I'm just playing 10 on the high E string, 13, 12, and then 13. Now, what's really cool about this is I'm viewing this as being out of the key of D minor. So I don't know how much theory you have under your fingers, but just starting with this right here is like I said, I'm viewing this as being out of D minor. all alternate, and make sure you're using these 3 fingers. And just go really slow with it. Like I said, slow or fast, this exercise sounds great. Now, a little challenge that we're going to do is we're going to alternate a single note, and this is really going to give it that pedal tone feel. So instead of just going to 10 on the high E string each time, you're going to alternate between 10 on the high E to 10 on the B. So you have this. Okay, and it's kind of Halloween-y, and it's almost Halloween. And if you know your D minor scale, you could continue to incorporate more D minor notes into the single note section, and you could really come up with some cool stuff. You know, whatever you're kind of walking up. Lots of different things you can do that. So so try that out. You know, just have some fun with it, and you can move it, even move it down an octave. Oh. Something like that. So there's that one, and then someone's asking about the Van Halen tone. So this is the Van Halen tone. It's my normal guitar tone. I've talked about this a lot on here, that I don't typically think of tones in terms of, oh, I need this pedal, and I need this amp setting, and I need all that kind of stuff. I think of a lot of tones in guitars. That's why, you know, I don't have 400 pedals, but I like to have a lot of guitars because that's just how I've always viewed tones. I'm like, oh, this guitar gets that tone, even though this is the same tone I've used in, like, you know, 1,000 videos. It just sounds different because of the guitar. And this is what I heard when I got this guitar, is I heard that Van Halen sound out of it. I'm like, oh, this just gets the Eddie tone, because it can sound deep and growly if I wanted to. But it also is very biting. It's a very biting tone. You know, it just has that, like I said, that Eddie sound to it. So when I was learning a lot of those riffs, I think Eddie actually tunes his B string up, but I'm not going to bother with that. I can't remember what he does. I'm going totally brain dead. So to me, like I said, this guitar has that Eddie sound to it, and it's the same tone that I always use, but just with the guitar incorporated in there, these pickups are really bright sounding. Yeah, yep. I thought he did, because if you listen to it, these strings aren't in tune. They clash. So you know, on some songs, Eddie doesn't do it on all the songs, but I believe in a lot of the songs that require those double stops on the B and the G, Eddie tunes that down. I also think I'm just out of tune in general. I am. My fine tuners are maxed out. Hey, Jace Tyler, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. I sold my Richie Kotzen Telecaster, believe it or not, for no fault of the guitar. The guitar is incredible. It is a great guitar. I still stand by anything I've ever said about that guitar. It's got some of the nicest fretwork I've ever seen. out of phase too. Yeah, really weird stuff with the Eddie. You know what's something that I have found extremely funny on these videos I've been making recently? The A string's just, it's out a little bit. But anyways, something I found that's funny. It's like I made these Jimmy Page videos, and they're like, because some of the stuff that I've talked about is just speculation. It's like I don't know it. And like, well, Jimmy's alive. Why doesn't someone just ask him? I'm like, because it's that easy to just like, let me just ring Jimmy Page up on the phone and ask him. It's like, are you kidding? These guys are like notoriously difficult. Like, they don't like doing interviews. They don't like doing that kind of stuff. They only do it basically when they're forced to. Same as with the Eddie. It's like, why don't you just ask him? Like, as if Eddie Van Halen cares who I am. Like, I can't just call these people up. So it's just really funny because I'm like, it's like, I message him on Instagram or whatever. I'm like, he doesn't run his Instagram page. Probably doesn't even know the sign-in information. To the striker, I have not. I can't do drop dead legs on a Floyd Rose, unfortunately. It's not tuned to standard. I can't get comfortable tonight. Yeah, sorry, this A string's just out of tune. It's driving me crazy. But that was the EVH tone. If you were, like I said, if you were wondering about it, it was mainly the guitar than anything else. I feel is what was helping me get that tone. Okay, here's a real dice roll for you. See what kind of tuning this thing's in. Another thing I like about the Cali, more than this one, is the old Charvels are like this dinky body style. And the Cali is like a normal Strat-sized guitar. I don't know any Dio Black Sabbath, I'm afraid. God, these strings are so dead. I tell you what, you know what's funny about this guitar? So it has this tiny little maple neck, pretty thin, and this neck has never moved. It is the most solid neck. It's crazy, and like I said, listen, I don't even remember. Like I said, I play the guitar enough to where, like I said, I feel like I can keep it. I like to use it in videos is the main thing, but pretty dang in tune. I don't even remember the last time I tuned this thing. Nope, this one's not. Trust me, Terry. This one's going nowhere. I don't want to go too crazy because I'm going to knock it out of tune. And I always thought this pickup sounds pretty good. This is the original Charvel pickup. This is a Duncan Custom. A lot of people ask me about it, which I'm not a fan of. but I'm too lazy to change it. So again, it's just, I guess that's just how this guitar sounds. But I always thought the neck sounds good. I really like this combination of humbucker and then single coil the neck, like the kind of the Warren DeMartini thing. Trumpet mic, like, yeah, exactly. This is just some good, probably, you know, hard rock maple, whatever this is. But I mean, like, I've never adjusted the neck, even like changing strings on it. It is just as solid can be. This guitar, so it really is. Now what's funny is it's a Model 1 neck, you know, next to the Charvettes. This was kind of like the lowest end Charvel, so this is a Model 1, and it's just, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Hair video, please. Play the Acacia? Yeah, I'll play the Acacia. It's right there. Remind me here in a minute, and I'll grab it. It is a Floyd. It's a top-mounted Floyd, so it's not like your I guess modern day Floyds. Has the behind the nut locking system on it. Seen the new Charvel DK24s? I think so. Like they have like a burnt orange looking one. Yeah, I have seen those. They look really nice. Do I like Chicago? I've never explored the city of Chicago, but unfortunately, I will say that you do have my least favorite airport ever. I don't know how to say it nicely, but I legitimately do not like EWR. Every like flying issue I've had, other than one, that one was in, I think it was in New York, but all my flying trouble all happened while I'm in Chicago. That Duncan. Yeah, you know what's funny is my buddy was asking me about the Kotzen because it has the DiMarzios in there, and those DiMarzios sound really, really good. But I'm like, but I've never been blown away by a set of DiMarzio pickups. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know, like, what makes such a difference. I'm like, it's like Duncans, I can always jive with them, but DiMarzios are like a tougher sell for me. Rules for Sabbath. Oh, I need to check that out. Talking about the band Chicago. Oh. I don't know any Chicago music. Originally from New York. Nice. Ooh, yeah, Doggin. How's it? I'm trying to remember. arpeggio. Hey. I'm not warmed up enough to do any cool arpeggio stuff. It'd be significantly better if my hands are ready for this. Yeah, I'm just not gonna be able to do anything cool. Oh. Shredboards with Jared Dines. Yeah, I've talked to Jared about doing that. Jared's a super cool guy about all of that stuff. But I don't know how much of like a shredder I am, to do that kind of stuff. I would totally be down for it, but he'd probably just dominate, me in the shredding department. I don't know how much of like tasteful shredding I can do. So much of my stuff is like, very rock based. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm glad you mentioned that. Squared off single cut because someone was asking for the acacia. So here is the acacia. So some people have been asking about it and why it hasn't been in videos recently. It's like it was in videos not that long ago. It's just the videos are spaced out. Like when you see the video, it could have been shot, 3-4 weeks ago. And oh, there we go. And what happens is, and I'm sure other people do this too. I just get on like kicks where there's like a certain kind of feel that I'm really like jiving with, and this guitar, there'll be periods where I'm playing this guitar all the time because it's an amazing guitar. Give me 1 second. There we go. And there'll be times where I'm not playing it a lot. And the same thing happens with my Les Pauls. Like there will be a stint where I might not play one of my Les Pauls for 2 weeks because, like I said, right now I'm way more in a Strat kick than anything. The Strat and the 335 are getting the most attention right now, and like I said, it's just you go through phases all the time. These are Fishman Fluence classics. So like I said, that's why. I see a lot of comments like, "What happened to this guitar?" Most of them are here, other than the Kotzen. It is now gone. But it's like no, they're still here. It's just like I said, you get on kicks. Like I'll be on a Super Strat kick where I'm just playing the Iconic and the Charvel and the Cali, and I'm not playing anything else for a while. And then all of a sudden I'm on a Les Paul kick, and I'm just only playing Les Pauls, and it's just. It's part of the reason why. Having an exclusive endorsement on any kind of product, really, and doing YouTube, I personally don't see the advantage to that because I'm like, I don't like to feel obligated to play anything. I just play whatever I want to play all the time, so, if you're getting a lot of gold top content, it's not because I have anything going on with Gibson. It's not because of anything else other than I just want to play my gold top. Or if you see the PRS a lot, like I was using the CE a ton for a while. It's like, yeah, I was like, I played it earlier today. I was like, that just happens to be the guitar I'm really vibing with, and it's not because it's any kind of association with PRS. It's just the guitar that I'm really, playing a lot of. Les Pauls take their baseball. None of my Les Pauls have baseball necks. The Sir James Nichols Epiphone has a big neck. Exactly. Yeah, you just do what you do. So, but yeah, this guitar is great. I think I need to charge the pickups. I don't remember last time I did that. I don't play slide guitar. Do Crossroads. I remember how that lick goes. Yeah, these pickups sound amazing. I think they need to be charged. Move to GB set. More green. Crossroads. I don't know the other Crossroads. I don't know it. No. Let a note ring out. Like a fretted note. Charge last long. That's like 500 hours. So. So it lasts forever, basically. Let me put this one right here. Yeah, and I've been really digging this one a lot because it's a hard guitar to play. If I'm being honest, I also feel that neck kind of falling down on me. Let's just take our time here and not hurt anything. This guitar is just such a beast. The pickups are so hot. So that was that. Like I said, but I typically don't run this guitar with this much distortion. So this is a lot of distortion. This is like kind of the distortion that I use when I'm using the P90s because it's really, kicking. So this one, I like to turn this extra boost off. So you can hear the difference, how much the more clarity there is. And then the boost. A lot more distortion. I like it better like this. play clean? Sure. Let me get this turned off here. So the clean sounds on this thing are... How's that go? I don't remember how that part goes. I can't remember how it goes. Oh man. So, get your 335 on. Pickups use their own power need. Charge via USB type. Oh, I see what you're talking about, the pickups. Chapmans are too uneven quality wise. I don't know. You know, I haven't played the Chapman stuff in a long time. So I'm sure Rob and them are working on putting out good stuff. It's 10 years gone. I can't remember how it goes now. My preferred pick. Just these. Sorry, I'm like what? So I saw Solar guitars and then this. I've used these Dragonheart picks for a long time now. I think 4 years. So if you can see that, I don't have a screen to see myself, so it's a little bit different. But I use, like I said, Dragonheart original is what I use. Yeah, I went brain dead. I'm like, I couldn't remember how to play it. I'm totally brain dead. Tell you what, Zeppelin song, it had a really cool riff in it, and I don't know if I can remember it. I've got the wrong tone dialed in here, but you know, we'll roll with it. But Misty Mountain Hop, such a cool riff. That riff is so cool. I you know, you hear it and you're just kind of like. Can't remember what the next chord is. Do ooh, hey, guitar hack. Woo, woo, woo. But I mean, it's like it's so ugly. Da, 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 da. Ain't talking about love. Bring it on home. Hold up. I always mess that bend up. It's such a hard bend. Can't do it, man. These 11s down here are not gonna let me do this. I'm like, why is it so hard to bend? I'm like, oh yeah, 11s. Favorite album of all time? Probably 1984. I would have to say that one would be up there for sure. So many things to click off. Can't remember that one either. So many of them, you know, I learn them for videos, but I don't like practice them past that, so then I forget them. And I just remember like hints of them. playing through Axe. Best Zeppelin album? Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to say Presence is definitely like tied for my number one favorite, to be honest. It's a lot of people don't like it, but man, Presence has so many good songs on it. It's alright. I don't know Unchained. You know, oddly enough, I don't really like Unchained. Of all the Van Halen riffs, I always just kind of like, I didn't care for that one for some reason, and it's a great riff. But it's a really cool live version of Unchained. I don't know what year it was, 80 or 81. Let's see. Unchained was on Fair Warning, or was that on Women and Children First? I can't remember. Was it on Van Halen 2? I can't remember. But Eddie is playing it. They're playing Unchained, and Eddie goes into the main riff too soon, and you see David Lee Roth like look back at him like, "What are you doing?" And then he like quickly jumps back into finishing the intro, and then he goes into the main riff. But it also was just kind of like a testament to how tight the band was, because they all like they followed Eddie, and then Eddie was like, "Oh shoot, I went too soon," and then they all just like rode with it. So Fair Warning, that's right. I thought it was Fair Warning, but I can't keep track of them. Guitar like Les Paul and 10s on a short scale. Yeah, I have 10s on my KM. On the Tobacco Burst has 10s. The Gold Top now has 11s, and this has 11s. Some Muddy Waters, Jay Bonamassa. Oh yeah, love me some Joe. Man, Bonamassa's latest album, Redemption. God, that is. I have worn that album out. I'm still listening to it. It has to be the best album Joe's put out, probably since Driving Towards the Daylight. It's such a good album. Killer's Last Stand. What's that one? Achilles' Last Stand has a ton of really cool riffs in it, but the one riff, it's so cool. that whatever that riff is, it's so good. Down, dig it and down. A big walk up that he does. Fish sticks, green beans, and corn. Such is your life. But Quentin, do you have pants on? That's what we all want to know. Oh yeah, Achilles' Last Stand is an amazing song. I can't think how that first chord goes though. Funk 49. I can tell I'm just like it's almost 2 a.m. I just realized that. I'm just tired. I'm losing my train of thought. I can't remember. Tell me, someone will know this. Does he walk down pentatonic or is it blues? Or is it... I can't remember. Is it just straight pentatonic or is it blues? Or Footloose? Yeah, gotta get footloose. Gotta do. No, I thought it was pentatonic. I think my hands are just too tired. Too much playing. Yeah, I thought it was. But I'm like, but that sounds good too. So, but I guess that's more of like the I think I'm just getting Funk 49 and then Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo intertwined. How do we go? Oh yeah. This is a great way. Bam. How's that go? Just got in today. Down. I think it's something like that. Again, I don't remember it. But I think I'm gonna have to call it a night, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging in there with me. We almost made it 2 hours. Well, I'll do 2 hours. It'd be a jerk move on my part to not just round this puppy out to 2 hours. So any final questions that I might have missed that I can kind of hit you with on our way out of here? I probably should have quit playing like an hour ago. As in, like, my hands, I wasn't playing very good. But, you know, what can you do? Drink Powerade. That's what you can do. Thank you all so much for hanging out. 231 of you guys. Awesome. Well, like I said, I think we're going to keep these a reoccurring thing on Saturdays. Saturday nights, like I said, midnight. There's way more people here than when I would do them on Fridays. And it's just... makes, you know, scheduling is way easier for me, and I can kind of let you guys know ahead of time earlier in the week. Favorite riff? Ooh, I don't know. All of them. pretty much all my guitars are in standard tuning. Yep. The Strat is half step down. I think Strats just sound better half step. That's just, to me, that's like where a Strat is meant to be. How do you do this without waking up your family? They're on the other side of the house. So, and I'm not really that loud, to be honest. You're hearing direct audio is why it sounds like it's really loud, but it's not. Thank you, guys. Hey, James. Guitar Fest Sunday. Have a good one. Thank you, man. Yeah, I won't be able to play it right now because like I said, my hands are shot. But I was working on that lick you showed me. James is an amazing guitar player. I met him at Guitar Fest. It was something like that. You were hybrid picking it, but I'm just normal picking. It's so foreign to me, all those chromatic notes. Yeah, I'll get it eventually. But it was super nice to meet you too, man. Thank you, Terry. Thank you to all the moderators. Thank you to all the people who sent super chats and all that. You know, you're really too nice. I'm pretty excited. I was going to release my my beginner guitar course this week, but I realized that Paul Davids was doing his guitar course release, which, you know, his is an intermediate course, mine's beginner. But I figured there's no reason trying to, like, you know, have two courses being launched at the same time. I was just talking to Paul, and I was like, I didn't know you were releasing your course this week. He's like, oh, no. He's like, yeah. He said, you know, we've already kind of, like, put the marketing and stuff behind it. So mine will probably come out then in a week or two. I'll probably give it a little bit of time. But how's the Sean Tubbs look coming? It's going good, you know. I'm still messing around with it. Again, you know, you're dealing with some shot fingers right now, but that lick, and you guys will see this lick soon. But it's a tricky lick. Yeah. I obviously needs more work. But other than that, guys, we made it 2 hours. Did we make it 2 hours? Close enough. So I will see you all later. There won't be a Sunday video. Like I said, I just kind of took the week easy because I was sick. But next week we plan on hitting it heavy again. So it'll be a normal, 3-4 video a week. But other than that, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great Sunday. I got to wake up early. My duty is Sunday morning breakfast. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I make some mean pancakes. So I got all the cooking supplies, all that stuff ready to go. So I'm going to get up early and, Gabby and Mason have put in orders. I like little pancakes. Sorry, and I'm getting supposed to be leaving, but yet I'm not. I like the little pancakes. Well, they like these huge pancakes that are the size of the skillet. So I'm in there trying to flip this thing, and they're like, "Don't ruin our pancakes." So that is going down. That is our Sunday thing. So my dad actually made pancakes and stuff for me. Every Sunday I can remember, even when I got older, he always made them. So it was kind of the tradition, and I get to kind of carry it over with Mason now. So pancakes, and we usually do bacon and eggs, but I think we're gonna chill it on the bacon. But I'll see you guys next time, and just have a good time. Don't stress. Just enjoy it. So, bye, guys. Maybe. I think I clicked on it. Who knows?